To give you a true insight on the Alzheimer's Association and the opportunity that this event provides for you to get involved, I want to welcome to the stage an extraordinarily brave woman who is herself living with early onset Alzheimer's and who has agreed to share with us just a bit about her experience. Please welcome to the stage Dr. Joyce Simons.
Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Joyce Simons, and I have Alzheimer's. That's pretty much the response that I get from everybody. And unfortunately, you get a better response when you tell people you have cancer or when you tell people you have AIDS. People really don't know what to do with you. I'm 58 now. I usually don't tell my age, but at this point I do. And people, I was diagnosed after I had a stroke at the age of 56. I was a college professor, so I could talk. I had the gift of gab. As my students would tell you, I'm sure the ones who had classes at 8 o'clock in the morning, they definitely knew that I had the gift of gab, and they had to stay awake because I always had a quiz at the beginning of each class, so they couldn't even be late. What my life was like after I was diagnosed, it was real interesting because I had to rely on people to communicate for me. I tried to hide it. I was still teaching, and I tried to hide it. So, like I said, I don't know if I said this, but I was a dean at a college. So therefore, I had to interact with the president. I had to interact with various people, and I was used to doing that, and I kind of wanted to hide it from them. So my secretary, she knew what was going on. She would sit next to me, and I always had PowerPoint. So that way they could take the attention away from me and direct it to the screen. And I lost my place often, so she would sit next to me and sort of tell me where the place was. It went on, and then it got to a point where I couldn't do that anymore. My friends were writing my emails. And let me back up a little. After I had the stroke, I really was in denial because it wasn't the kind of stroke that would put you, that would totally debilitate you, but it was one that you could ignore. I ignored the numbness. I ignored everything until one day I was at my desk and I couldn't spell of and the, and I had also had two mini accidents, and so I refused to. I just said, I was tired, and my husband said to me, you're more than tired. You're gonna wreck our car. So we got to go to the doctor. So when he went, I was diagnosed. You don't know how important it is to be able to communicate what you want to say to somebody, and how if that is taken away from you, you almost feel as though you're nobody. I've had a lot of occupational therapy, and it was a time when I really couldn't talk the way I'm talking to you. To be the voice behind the scene, I feel like that's how in a sense, that's how I am, the voice behind the scene. But there are a lot of people who help me along. My husband, my kids, and the biggest problem I have is that when I stop, people want to finish my sentences for me. And I want to say, Be patient. Stop. I had an incident which was really funny. Humor is often the best medicine. And I had an incident where I was, they took my driving privileges away from me. And I live in, for those of you who live down here, I live in Rockland County. So you have to drive. And unfortunately, they took these privileges away. I had to wait. I was standing waiting for a disabilities bus, and apparently somebody else had jumped on, and the dispatcher said, I called and I said, where's the bus? And so she called the dispatcher, and then she came back and she said, well, he says you're on the bus. And I said, I might be bad, but I know that I'm not on the bus. It's really important to communicate, and I can't stress enough for you all to understand that it's a gift. Communication is a gift, and you really should never, ever take it for granted. Thank you.